Hey guys, welcome back. All right, let's get into this. We're going to take a quick peek at whatever the collective message may be for today. Let's take a peek. We start with an Eight of Pentacles. It is sideways, and I immediately wanted this other deck. As soon as I started with this one, I was like, but I want that. This could be somebody who's debating about where to put their energy. Do I keep working on this? Do I back off? Four of Cups and the Sun. I kind of think that we have a character ready to surrender something and they've become clear. It's time to let this go. This could be a divine feminine, specifically more of a Leo. But, it's funny because although this is the Four of Cups, she's standing in front of this huge full moon energy. And then the next card is the Sun. So I really feel like this is a person who's like giving up on possibly a relationship with whomever this masculine could be. She may be saying, you know what, I don't really think that there's no evidence that things are going to get worked out, or there's no evidence that he's trying to work things out with me. Emperor in the reverse. She may be chalking this one up to like what I've become clear on is he's accepted who he is. He's an emperor in the reverse. Somebody who's tyrannical, somebody who wants to be in power and control, even if they haven't earned that or deserved that. Somebody who's got no intention of making any change. They're going to do stuff the way they've been doing it. And that's not, she does not agree with this or approve of this. You can't approve of a tyrant, right? That's somebody trapped in, a cycle of selfishness. She does not have a good opinion of him, and she wondered if he was going to work on himself. Now, please remember, this is her opinion of this other character. Maybe she's off target with this. Maybe she's not right about this, or maybe she's spot on. We have King of Wands upright. I feel like what she wanted, she wasn't asking for the world. She's saying, what I wanted was somebody heart-centered. If he could just operate from his heart, but maybe he's too greedy about power and money. And so his heart gets pushed to the back when it comes to making a decision. It's always going to be, where can I make the most money? There's greed. I want power. And so she's saying, I know now that he's going to choose that over his heart. Let's ask him, do you have a response to this? Four of Wands sideways. There's kind of an element of, well, I want to have everything. The Magician upright. He may be trying to argue, of course, I am wanting, like a good life. I'm trying to manifest that, and it's taking a lot of time. I'm in the trenches doing the dirty work, but I'm doing it for a good purpose. I'm trying to manifest slowly over time success. I'm trying to manifest, the opportunities. Eight of Pentacles upright, Action of Cups. He's trying to argue everything that he's doing so that eventually there can be the pursuit of love and romance. Whereas she's saying, I think he likes what he's doing and where he's at, so I'm letting this go. He's trapped in a cycle of craving money and power, not listening to his heart. So I realize that this is a missed opportunity, and it's time that I let this go. I'm very clear on this. Whereas he's over here staying in some kind of energy of, look, I got to keep pushing forward right where I am, so that someday then my life will be pieced together enough that I can pursue relationship and love first and foremost. So he's basically not giving himself permission to follow his heart right now, because he's saying everything that I'm doing is so that later I can. But that's not what I'm doing right now. So she's incorrect about one thing. She thinks that he's content remaining this Emperor in the reverse. He's saying that's not what he's doing. On his side, he's looking at a Queen of Wands sideways. And this is interesting because it seems like he is looking at her as someone who's a little bit in a rut or a pattern. What is it that you think of her being in a rut or a pattern? Five of Cups. He's like, she keeps believing that if things don't happen on her timeline in her way, then she's going to be really disgruntled, really sad. She's not getting what she wants. So there's this element of him. I'm sorry that like they both have criticisms of each other in this storyline, right? It's a kind of a fascinating story to look at because we get to see both of their opinions about how they're viewing the other one's, perspectives. 10 of Pentacles. He is saying she wants a really happy home, but she's conveniently forgetting what it takes to get there. And she's focused on, this is what I want and I want it now. And if I can't have it right now, then I'm really, really, really miserable. I'm really sad over this, because she's only thinking about the happy home without thinking about what it takes to have that happy home. So it's kind of like he's saying she's being impatient, or even too quick to be miserable over what she perceives as it's not happening the way she wants it. But he's saying, but the things that I would like to offer, or the kind of life that we'd like to share together, it requires me to operate in the way that I am. I have no other choice. I have to do these things before I can be in this relationship. But that makes her unhappy. Okay, they both kind of have a bit of a point, don't they? Right? But it feels like neither one is like budging and connecting and figuring out. Let's turn to the universe, because they're not talking, but they're holding these opinions of one another and criticisms of one another. Universe weighs in and says, 7 of Pentacles. This situation, either there needs to be more investment of time before this could come together. The 8 of Swords is in the reverse. The universe says there's really nothing blocking this connection. Tower and 5 of Pentacles. Okay, hang on, because now I'm interpreting this as a message for each of them. The universe says for him, you don't need to keep working on something. There's nothing blocking you. You already have enough to be in a relationship. You don't need to keep pushing that aside and chasing down money, finance. You've done all of that. This is actually time for the harvest now, and there's nothing blocking the harvest. On her side, it says, drop the idea that you need to be really sad that he's not giving you enough, or that he's not following his heart, because there really is, if you insist that, and you're gonna, then even when he does come towards you, you'll be like, no, you know what? I remember that I was sad before because you weren't doing what I wanted in the timeline that I wanted. You weren't, surrendering this drive for business and choosing our romance in a timely enough fashion for me. And she could wind up pushing him away, but that would be an ego-based decision, because in truth, she wants him. Now, she doesn't want him if she thinks he's toxic, but the universe is just saying, drop all ego about this and just say, don't feel as if you're wounded over the fact that he might have been, working in the way that he felt he had to work. Don't feel neglected and angry over that. You can still say you don't like it, but don't make it too personal to where, you harbor this huge pain, because that's her ego talking. Look, this is a hard thing to say, because I'm like, well, I would argue like on her behalf, but if she's not receiving, what she would want from a partner, then she would still draw the line and say, yes, but I'm not receiving what I would want from a partner. They're not present. We're not together because they're out, doing other work. And that's not what I would want. And that's fine. But the universe is just saying, but don't be brokenhearted over it, or imagine that you're being shunned or left out in the cold. Drop that one little sliver of the argument. And that I could understand. Okay, so universe, what does this mean? Is it like, come on, you two, you can be together like right now? There is no more waiting game, but they both are going to have to surrender a certain amount of, like hurt or tension. We have 4 of Pentacles. We have 10 of Cups. We have the Ace of Swords. It is very much, look, 4 of Pentacles is people holding back, right? And this is a stupid thing to keep them apart, because it's not even a proper fence. Anybody can scale that fence. That's like a 2.5 foot, 3 foot fence. Anybody can get over that. And all those chains, this is all like, they're making in their heads this concept that, oh, we can't be together. This is terrible. This is actually a tempest in a teacup. They would be able to be very happy together, but the universe is right here saying it all, right? In the galaxy coat with the nautilus shell for the head, and holding the key that unlocks this. They are the only thing standing between their ability to have this relationship. There's definitely, if she starts to put up boundaries also and be like, I'm building this really hurt energy, this unfavorable opinion. He's, so toxic and all he cares about is money. And I know that now, and I don't want him, when in fact she still does love him. And maybe she knows that's not true, but she's hurt and she's starting to say that. This is a missed opportunity. This is really sad. This says don't drive that message home for oneself. Not in this story, because in this story, keep in mind, every story is different, right? In this story, he actually has been trying for the right reasons to improve circumstances so that, like, maybe he's gone all the time for work. Maybe he took a job that, takes him far away. And she's like, so you're never here because all you crave is money. And he's like, no, I'm trying to get, some kind of, life stuff squared away so then we could have this connection. I have to get some life stuff squared away. I have to get this money sorted. I have to do this so that I can be a good partner to you. And she's over here saying, you're ignoring me. You're hurting me. You're toxic. You don't care. When the reverse is true. But he's got to let go of this drive that I've got to go someplace else to make the money, put love on the back burner. The universe is saying, if these two can stop having this needless fence between them, the thing that's pushing the two of them apart, they could be very happy together. They'd also grow and build faster together. It is the divine masculine who has to have this primary breakthrough because he's the one who's staying away. What she's supposed to do, chase, obviously not. So it is like the divine masculine has to have this breakthrough, but on her side, putting up a fence and saying, I don't want you anymore, even though I do, that also wouldn't be a good idea. These two have to just get really, really straightforward, I think, with each other and realize, here's how it is. Here's how it is. This is what needs to change. I'm not going to pretend that I don't want you when I do, but it's time you choose the relationship and we build it together. He's got to be able to understand, I'm going to lose her if I keep staying away to go chase money. If that could happen, we've got the 10 of Cups there in the middle. But the encouragement from the universe, because the universe is always going to try to lay out the truth that is maybe not what we want to hear, but maybe the best thing. Like, how do we get the best life? How do we authentically get what our heart wants? This whole story says these two really want to be together. And all of the other, tension and staying apart and all of that and building up these walls because she's now building walls saying, I'm done with him. He's never going to be present. He is losing her. But then she in turn is building a wall to say, now I will reject him no matter what, which will also cause her more grief by the time he does come back around, if he finally gets all of his money sorted. And this just says, why do that to oneself? Why don't both of these characters stop and say, what's my primary objective? Oh, it's to be with the person that I love. Then let me go be with the person that I love. And then secondary to that, let's figure out the money. Let's figure out how we're going to make everything else work. But this says, at least from the universe, there really is nothing that is preventing these two from being together right now, other than the walls that they're building and the stubbornness. Are they going to be able, universe, to get beyond this, or is this going to be a lost connection? King of Pentacles and the Temperance card. It says that they can get beyond it, but it would require him to just claim his place right now, wherever he's at. Be a king where you are. If you were trying to go out and make $1 billion, maybe he's never going to get $1 billion in his whole lifetime. He needs to be the king of whatever he is. Be proud of wherever you are in life right now. It's great to have goals, dreams, and things that you want to do more and build more and, create. His objective is always like, I have to be really wealthy. I have to be a powerful, in this case, divine masculine, even though bear in mind, these characters could be same sex, could be reverse gender roles. But his primary drive is, I have to have more. And the universe says, if you can decide that You've already done good with who you are, where you are. Be a master of whatever your current craft is. If you are a grocery store checker, be the best grocery store checker you can be, and be proud of that skill. Be proud of how swiftly you get people through your line. Be okay with who you are and master exactly where you are in life, and you'll have the sense of self-satisfaction, and then you're not going to prevent yourself from having love. Same thing on her side. If she can let go of the kind of hurt and hostility that's been building and the disappointment that's been building, because she's kind of been focusing on he's only after money, he's selfish, he's not listening to his heart, and I know this now, and it hurts me, and I'm really clear on that. And this is a missed opportunity. I'm determined now it's going to be a missed opportunity. If she can let go of that energy, then this connection could actually really come into play now. This is not a story where two people have been out cheating on each other, trying to disrespect each other. This is two hearts that want to be together. And we're seeing the one obstacle is, but I can't until I do X, Y, or Z. And that's a really foolish thing to keep them apart. In this story, they could absolutely wind up successful together. There's greater chance of them ending up successful together than not being together. But what would happen then? Or needs to happen? Nine of Swords, King of Wands. Okay, so the burden is actually all on him at this point. He needs to get his heart in the right place and realize he's stressing her out in a really big way. He needs to see it through her eyes. I'm the one staying away to go work and do all this other stuff that I believe I have to do. But what about her? Why am I not present for her? If it's causing her stress, do I really want to do that? No, I want to love my partner. So right now, this all hinges on whether or not he goes to his partner. So, if he doesn't, the message to her is still, but don't be wounded and hurt that if he can't seem to, just let go of this drive that he has to go find, wealth, because he was trying to do it for the connection, misguided for sure. But it just says the universe just doesn't want her to get bitter or wounded. That's all. But in this storyline, he has to change that pursuit. That's what it's going to take. The burden of that is all on him. Final message on this is Wheel of Fortune, and it is time. These two, this is the make it or break it moment. This is it is time for him to stop insisting that he has to go out and find more money. He needs to find his heart and follow his heart at this point. All right, I'm going to leave this one here. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing.